Good morning. Glad you're here this morning. I love the way Damien presented that reading. He's really so good at bringing his emotion and his centeredness and mindfulness into action. And the title today is Mindfulness, mindfulness in everything. And I want to put mindfulness in the context of what Centers for Spiritual Living teaches and what Reverend Sue and I have experienced this past month. Centers for Spiritual Living, for the new person, is our headquarters in Golden, Colorado. And each of our 400 centers around the world teaches this philosophy called religious science, as described in Dr. Holmes' textbook, The Science of Mind. Dr. Holmes studied all the world's religion and all the spiritual texts in the world, and he did what he called synthesized the truths that he found there, the common threads that he felt best explained the truth of how the universe works, how we work, how religious and science work together. We believe God, or infinite intelligence, created everything out of itself, and it's undivided, it's whole. It's what we call oneness. We are all in this universe that was created by God, and we're just individual expressions, and yet we're brothers and sisters to each other. It's a life-affirming universe. You know, God is good all the time. We believe that. And everything is made of energy. Even the podium, little atoms swirling all around, making a podium, or the chair, or all the little atoms and cells in your body. The universe is just alive with energy, so it's always in motion. We believe that infinite intelligence operates through universal laws, and one of those is called the creative process. It's also called the law of cause and effect, but it's a creative process where our thoughts and feelings and beliefs are attractive energy that brings like energy and experiences to us. So we say we create our own reality. Hope you like it. Hope you like it. And I know because you're here, you want it to be even better. Let's amp it up even a bit more. But if you don't like what's happening, you've heard the old adage, change your thinking, change your life. That's because that's the creative process. A couple of years ago, a woman, I'll just call her Georgia, came to me because she was afraid she might not have enough strength to not go back on drugs and alcohol. It had been a long pattern in her life. And I inquired about her past, and she said, well, I believe I'm a worthless individual. My parents told me so for lots of years. And she married an abusive man, and her children ended up to be addicts, and she was feeling like a worthless mom and wife. In her sadness, that pull of going back to drugs and alcohol was there to ease her pain. But I shared with her, there's always more to the story, always more. So I drew this big S on paper. I said, you, Georgia, are a super soul. A super soul. You came into this life experience. And I drew a tail on the S. And I said, you came into this life experience to grow, to evolve, because your soul's going to go on forever. This was something she had not thought of, obviously. And I said, in my experience, when I talk with people who are feeling worthless or something like that, I draw a big block on that line of coming into this experience. And I said, in my experience, when I ask a person, is there anything you'd like to get beyond that's blocking your happiness? And most of the time they go, oh yeah, I know what it is. And she said it was her worthlessness. But for you, it could be a number of things. It could be anger, it could be the inability to give love, to receive love. It could be a whole array of things, because the soul came into this life experience to grow beyond what's holding us back, to grow beyond, to evolve. So, to leave worthlessness and to find a path to being truly joyful. We know the truth is God doesn't make mistakes. If you're here, you're supposed to be here. If you came in with a sense of worthlessness, that, if you looked at the thread of time, has been there a long time. And if you looked at life's experiences all across the way, that little block that you came in with is still a thread going through your life experience. Cause and effect, because our beliefs are causal energy. And so if we don't change cause, if we don't change our beliefs, the thread continues. I have met many women who say, there's no good men in Reading because I always pick ones that are just incredibly different from me. I don't want to say anything negative, but I keep picking the wrong guys. And yeah, there's a thread there. If you want to come and talk about that, this is how it happens. And when you come to see a practitioner or a minister, we'll ask you, what do you want to change in your life? Do you want more happiness? What do you want to change? And we will help you develop a belief, a mantra, a prayer that will help lift you up into that actual experience. That's what we do. And we train really hard for that. And then we might say, are there some negative words you keep repeating to yourself or negative things you keep talking about yourself? And we help shift that because you are a child of God. You are the most precious child of God. A few years ago, a man came to me with a serious medical condition, and he asked for healing prayer. Well, when it comes to issues of the body, I tend to check out Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, if you know that book. Louise spent most of her life watching people, talking with people, seeing what beliefs and energies they have, and then what kind of illness they may have, or where that energy settles in the body. And she's got this all figured out. Of course, it's her experience, and it may not be true for us. So I asked this gentleman, would you mind if I check out Louise Hay and just see what she says about your medical condition? And he said, oh, okay, that would be all right. So I pulled the book off the shelf, looked up his medical condition, and it said the likely cause is perpetual anger. I said, does that make sense? And he goes, oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's how my family communicates all my life. Yelling, screaming, being angry, talking bad about each other, perpetual anger. I thought, wow, that's amazing. So the spiritual treatment that I did was about love. How can you start to love family? How can you start to interject love when your reaction is anger? How can you stop yourself? And that's what mindfulness is all about. Because where our energy goes, our attention goes, energy flows. It's creative energy, causal energy. So when we identify a negative habit, it takes really courage to try and stop it, to catch ourselves, like, oh, did it again. And that's what mindfulness is about. And I have 3 quotes I'd like to share with you this morning. One is from Viktor Frankl, who you know was in a concentration camp in World War II. He had a lot of time to think. And he wrote, between the stimulus and our response, there's a space. In that space lies our freedom and power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So I believe that's very true because what we hear and how we respond, there is a space. And we have the freedom to choose how we respond to that. But what is our response based on? For this gentleman, his response is always based on anger. It's a heck of a thing to stop, to pause, and to think, can I do something different? Can I say something different? Can I realize something different? Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, the present moment is the only time over which we have dominion. The present moment, this moment right here, this moment right here. Because right here and now, we choose how we're going to feel. Maybe you don't like this topic, or maybe really need to take a break, go to the bathroom, I don't know, whatever's on your mind. In the present moment, that's all we have. So how we feel, how we respond to what you're hearing or you're feeling, it kind of feels warm in here this morning to me. So are we choosing anger, fear, love? And sometimes the best place is in a neutral place, neutrality, unresponse. That's interesting. That's interesting. Pema Chodron wrote, "Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know." I love that. It just doesn't go away. Here it is again. Oh, man. You know that feeling? It's a really powerful statement. Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Because everything happens for a reason. It was interesting the other day, I was at the Crisis Center. I had my little lending library there. And there was a book on the top, and it said, "Everything happens for a reason." And I was thinking, you know, if you didn't have a sense of this philosophy, you wouldn't even pick that book up. You wouldn't want to. But if you do, you pick it up and you read it and you get refreshed. You get a sense of power, a sense of being in control, because we are. So when something happens that we don't like, do we take time to think about how we contributed to that? Are we learning? Because we're not passive bystanders in life. We are not passive bystanders. So imagine this situation. A friend you've known for a long time had a bad experience. You're surprised. And you let that friend know that you're sorry to hear they had a bad experience. But then your friend tells other people that it's your fault. It's your fault. And your gut says, wait a minute, how can I be in charge of your experience? And for Sue and I, recently, come waves of anger. We found out it is your fault. How could you do that? But you know what we do? That's interesting. We're not going to react. Thank God we've been taught. Mindfulness. Breathe. Mindfulness. John Kabat-Zinn wrote, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." I love that. I love that. I love it because it's what Reverend Sue and I are doing. We're surfing. Just being in the moment. Letting those waves go over and not trying to drink the water. You know, we were blessed with really phenomenal teachers, Dr. James and Dr. Andrea. And they taught us, Kay's here, she was part of the team, time after time after time. You are the author of your experience. And boy, that was hard. Because sometimes things happen, and whatever unpleasant thing we came to share with James and Andrea, they would look at us directly and go, "What did you do to attract that?" Honest to God. That's a hard thing for a practitioner in training or a minister in training. What did you do to attract that? No one else is the author of my experience. I'm not the author of anyone else's experience, no matter how critical they are of us. So we learn to surf, and we learn to practice mindfulness. And it's worth the effort, believe me. So many people in the world today are reactive. You know, you watch the news and you want to throw a rock at the TV set, or you want to stomp up and down, or run away, or wish it would all go away. And sometimes we say things and then, oh, I want to take that back. Can I take it back? I said that too fast. If we're mindful, if we stop before we react, we create that space. And then we decide what we're going to do in that space. We can be calmer. We can look at our initial negative reaction, or maybe it's an even positive reaction, and go, oh, that's interesting. So if others are blaming you for their experience, there's some exercises you can do, and they're mindfulness exercises. Last Sunday, Damien did a beautiful job of being with your breath, just like he did with that opening. Being with your breath, breathing in and out very slowly. It just calms everything down. And a breath cycle in and out should probably last about 6 seconds. You let go of your thoughts. You just let it all go. And I read about another one in Thich Nhat Hanh's book, Mindfulness for Children. So take your index finger and breathe in and out. In and out. In and out. In and out. You can do that in a doctor's office because you have plenty of time waiting. Or anywhere, just your own hands. You don't need special music or anything. So it's a wonderful thing to try and see how it works. That's mindful breathing. And the second one is mindful observation. Look around the room and choose an object and look at it. It might be the back of the chair in front of you. It might be somebody's lovely hair. It might be some color on the wall. It could be the clouds. It could be the stained glass window. Don't do anything but just notice it. Pick something, just notice it. Look at it like you're seeing it for the first time. Because I'll bet a number of people here have not noticed everything that's in that stained glass window. Because that window was created from the trees that used to be there that got blown down in a storm. And the bird and the nest. See it as if it's there for the first time. It's beautiful. Mindful observation. Mindful awareness. It's appreciating the simple things that we do every day. Now, when practitioners open up the church for you, we put the key in the lock and we turn it, and we open the door. And with mindfulness, we bless everyone who enters that door. And we say, I know you find spiritual fulfillment here. May you be happy. That sets the energy for Sunday morning. Mindful awareness, when you turn on your computer, be grateful for the people that could figure out how to do a computer. Be grateful for what you know to do on the computer or what you would like to know to do on the computer. Sometimes it's a little challenging. If someone is cooking a lovely meal in your house and you smell the aroma, just be grateful. Be aware of the gratitude you have for whoever's cooking that. Food cooked with love always tastes extra special. And if you're stopped at a traffic light, I always think, because I love Shasta County Public Works and City of Reading Public Works, because they time more of the lights and they really focus on our safety. I'm really grateful for that. Then mindful listening is number 3, being aware of the sounds around you. Now, if you walk outside in the grounds this morning, you'll probably hear some birds chirping. Yesterday, you probably would have heard some wind in the trees. It's just mindful listening. But then when you go in your home, listen to what's going on, the energy in your home. Right now, thankfully, air conditioning units are running, and you can hear them. And then we have a clock that I never hear until I'm wanting to take a nap, and it goes tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. The rest of the time, I never hear it. But when I want to take a nap, there it is. And I also listen every day. I get a real kick out of this. Our little cat, Gracie. I listen for her garbled meow as she's carrying her mouth in her mouth and going as she comes to see me. It always makes me laugh, and I'm always very proud of Gracie for bringing me her mouse. But it's a wonderful sound to hear her coming down the hallway. So I love to listen. when I'm at home. And if you're in the car at home and you want to turn on an interesting radio station, our two community stations, KFOI and KKRN, they have amazing exotic music at different times of the day, like Jamaican music or Brazilian music or African music. It's really fascinating. So if you want to be mindful listening while that's on the radio, listen for the voices. Where are they going? Listen for the tunes. Listen how they blend the instruments. Just be really mindful of the creativity that goes into developing music. Number 5 is mindful immersion. If you're striving to get a chore done and you're not really happy about doing this chore, do it from a mindfulness perspective. And for me, that's when I'm pulling weeds. All these weeds, from all the rain that we have, pulling weeds. Is it ever going to end? Yes, if I'm mindful about it and I don't get mad at every weed that's in our yard. What does that weed feel like? Does it come out easy or hard? How does the soil react? Mindful immersion in every task. Eventually, you'll have a more beautiful landscape, if nothing else. Mindful appreciation is number 6. Notice 5 things in your average day that usually go unappreciated. 5 things. And then just give thanks. Have you noticed the fabric on your couch, the pattern of the fabric on your couch? Oh, it's a blue couch. No, it's got purple and red and green and yellow threads running through it. Somebody designed that. And that's why we like it, because it's so beautiful. But otherwise, I just walk by and go, yeah, blue couch. And then the wood grain in our cabinets. I love wood. I grew up loving forests. And the wood in our cabinets at home, if I look at them, I can see the rings of the tree on which it grew. And now it's gracing our home. And it's a beautiful piece of wood. You know, I love that. Mindful appreciation of things that you usually don't think about. Because all things are connected. You know, I go down the road and my car, thank God for my car. It's so reliable. But you know, sometimes I go, oh, good car. I'm pounding the steering wheel. Good car, good car, good car. I love you, I love you. It's just little atoms running around too. I want it to be reliable. I want it to be happy I'm driving it. And I drive it lovingly. So all these things can be mindful to you. Because as Viktor Frankl wrote, again, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom and power to choose. In our response lies our growth and freedom. Coming up the highway every day from Cottonwood, all the construction, it's going to be going on for 3 years. So everybody's either going really fast to get by all you, or doing the speed limit, or even doing less than the speed limit. And somebody zooms around me and I go, what did you do that for? Hey, guy, what's with this? And it's always a guy, sorry. What's wrong with that guy? My heart beats faster, I'm gripping the steering wheel, and here comes a motorcycle between the car next to me, and whoosh. Holy cow, scares the heck out of me when they do that. But there was a space in my reaction time where I could have gone, those drivers really need my love. That's a hard one, I know. Yeah, we can take a couple deep breaths and maybe even wish them well, or wish them that they get to their destination safely and they didn't cause me to be in an accident. So those are the 6 mindfulness practices that you can do. You know, mindfulness is one of the practices that we encourage in Science of Mind. And I put them all on this green paper that's at the board desk, and you can look at that and see. There are principles and there are practices. Mindfulness is practice number 5. We do prayer, meditation, visioning, affirmations, mindfulness, giving and receiving, gratitude, forgiveness, and sacred service. Lots of things to apply to your daily life. You know, I think Sue and I have done pretty well this past month in being mindful every day, because this energy that's coming at us probably isn't over. But we're going to continue to surf the waves. We're going to surf those waves. And when things come our way, we're going to continue to pray for everyone involved to be healed, because we know that's the highest and best. So I'd like to close with the pebble meditation. I don't know if I can do it as good as Damien did, but I think it's a beautiful way of planting the seeds of mindfulness. So breathing in, I see myself as a flower. And breathing out, I feel fresh. Breathing in, I see myself as a mountain. And breathing out, I feel solid. Breathing in, I see myself as still water. And breathing out, I reflect things as they are. Breathing in, I see myself as space. And breathing out, I feel free. Thank you, God. And so it is.